What to do if you can't quit an addiction after trying. The first thing to do is to accept that this is very, very common. This is a common thread amongst all addictions. It is very hard to quit, and it takes a lot of effort. The first thing to do is to take solace and realize that you're not alone. There are other people who are going through the same thing. The next step is to connect with these people. By being with others, it seems to just help take the edge off, takes the stress off. We don't feel so much shame and guilt and embarrassment when we're immersed in a group of other people who are going through the same thing. So it's empowering. This can take place in a variety of settings. This can take place in a 12-step group like AA or NA or Cocaine Anonymous, Gambling Anonymous. This can take place in a rehab. This is where rehab really offers a lot more. 12-step groups can be helpful, but alone there's less success because the lifestyle changes that are suggested in 12 steps are not fully comprehensive. So some of the steps are excellent, particularly identifying what my weaknesses are and trying to improve upon them, identifying how I've hurt which people I've hurt before and trying to make amends to them, trying to use other techniques of coping with stress like meditation and prayer, mindfulness. These are all things from the 12-step groups that are helpful, but in my opinion, a rehab will provide you with a lot more information. It also gives you an opportunity to be shielded from the stresses of life, to be away from it all, and just to focus on yourself. And the duration of the rehab itself, unfortunately some of them are only 3 weeks to 4 weeks long, but those are not as helpful, I find, as a rehab that is more like 2 months or even 6 months. The reason why is because we need to learn to live our lives and cope with stresses without relying on our crutches, whatever drug or substance this may be. We can learn in rehab the various techniques of identifying what those stresses are in my life, techniques of learning how to be open with other people and communicate. Expressing myself also helps take the edge off. Relapse prevention techniques. This is being aware of my own thinking, being aware of what triggers me, and to learn how to cope with these triggers in real time. And eventually you learn techniques of just writing it out, and it lasts typically less than a minute. These are just some examples I want to illustrate to you of techniques that you can learn in rehab that are not available at a 12-step group. Also learning how to substitute the time spent towards using drugs with healthy activities. So things like recreation, entertainment things, leisure activities, hobbies, time with other people, volunteering as well. Speaking out about addiction. All of the above helps connect us with others, and it takes us out of the isolation that is so much of a part of an active addiction. So to summarize, if you can't quit and you've identified that you may have an addiction, realize you're not alone. There's plenty of people out there who are going through the same thing. Addiction is a very common illness that crosses all socioeconomic boundaries, and there are other people out there who are trying to get help for themselves as well. The important part is to get connected with them, whether it's in a 12-step group, but more importantly a rehab, whereas in rehab you can learn the new techniques that help ensure an enduring recovery. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave it in the comment box below. Thanks.